I thought Thanksgiving was about turkey and family, until my sister found out I had $14.6 million in one night. She turned the whole family against me, and what I uncovered next nearly destroyed us both. I never thought Thanksgiving would be the day my entire family turned on me, but I guess that's how these things happen. You don't see it coming until you're right in the middle of it. The day started out normally enough. My sister Olivia was bringing her new boyfriend, my parents were buzzing around the kitchen, and I was just trying to enjoy the smell of roasted turkey without being dragged into a discussion about why I was still single. But then Olivia found out about the $14.6 million, and everything changed. It wasn't supposed to happen like that. I've never been the kind of person to flaunt money, mostly because I know what kind of reaction it can provoke. People see a number with that many zeros and suddenly they start doing math in their heads about what percentage of it should be theirs. And my family, God bless them, are experts in entitlement. So I kept quiet. 4 years. The money came from an app I built in my 20s. It started as a side project, something I worked on after my shifts at the coffee shop, and for the longest time it barely covered my rent. Then one day, a big tech company came knocking with an acquisition offer. I thought it was a scam until I saw the wire transfer hit my account, $14.6 million after taxes. It was more money than I'd ever imagined having, and because I've never been great at splurging, most of it just sat in investments, quietly growing. My family knew I did something with computers, but they assumed it was just boring office work, and I liked it that way. The less they knew, the safer my peace of mind. That illusion shattered when Olivia decided to borrow my laptop. She'd forgotten hers and wanted to look up a recipe. I didn't think twice about it until I saw her expression freeze halfway through typing. She'd opened a tab I'd left on my investment dashboard. She stared at the numbers for a solid 10 seconds before her voice came out in this high-pitched, incredulous tone. "Is this real?" I tried to brush it off, but the damage was done. Within minutes, the whole family knew. It was like tossing a bloody steak into a pool of sharks. My mom's first reaction wasn't even to congratulate me. She just gasped and said, "Oh my God, think what you could do for Olivia." My dad, always the quieter type, muttered, "That could pay off her house, her student loans, set her up for life." Olivia didn't even pretend to be shy about it. She just looked me dead in the eye and said, "You should give me at least half. You don't even need it all. I deserve it more than you." I laughed at first, thinking it was a joke, but nobody else was laughing. My mother crossed her arms like she was defending a court case. "Olivia's struggled her whole life," she said. "You've always been the smart one. You've had your successes. She's had setbacks, had luck. It's only fair." Fair, as if life was some sort of cosmic balance sheet, and I was morally obligated to redistribute my earnings to make it all even. I told them it wasn't happening, which went over about as well as announcing I was burning the turkey. The room got tense, voices rose, and before long Olivia was crying into her wine glass about how her own brother didn't care if she drowned in debt. I thought that was the worst of it. But then my Uncle Dave, never one to miss a chance at drama, pulled me aside in the hallway. "Listen," he said, "I've been in this family a long time. You give her the money now, you'll never hear the end of it. She'll be back for more every time she wants a new car or a bigger house. Don't be stupid." I was relieved. Someone was on my side until he leaned in closer and added, "But if you want, you could invest in my business instead. I've got this great idea for a sports bar." That's when it hit me. This wasn't about helping Olivia. This was about everyone realizing I had something they wanted. I went back to the table determined to shut it down. I explained, as calmly as I could, that the money was mine, I'd earned it, and it wasn't up for grabs. Olivia's boyfriend, who'd been silent up to that point, finally spoke up. "You know," he said, "it's kind of selfish to hoard money when people you love are struggling." That set my mom off again. "Exactly. We're family. Families share. Families help each other." I wanted to scream. 4 years I'd paid for family trips, covered bills when people were short, even slipped Olivia rent money more times than I could count. None of that counted now. The only thing they saw was the number on that screen. The tension simmered through dinner. Nobody complimented the turkey. Nobody talked about football. It was just awkward silence and occasional glare in my direction. I thought maybe things would cool down after dessert. I was wrong. Olivia cornered me in the kitchen while I was packing up leftovers. She dropped the tears and went full cold-blooded. "If you don't give me the money," she said, "I'll make sure everyone knows how you got it." My stomach twisted. "What's that supposed to mean?" "I did a little digging," she said, smiling like a cat with a canary. "That app you sold, you didn't code it entirely yourself, did you? I remember you working with someone back in the day, a guy named Matt. What if Matt found out you cashed out for millions and never gave him a cut?" The blood drained from my face. She wasn't wrong. Matt had been my roommate when I started building the app. He'd given me some early ideas, but he bailed before we even got to the first working prototype. Legally, he didn't have a claim, Morley, well, that was grayer. Olivia saw my hesitation and pounced. Exactly. You don't want that coming out. So be smart. Transfer me $7 million, and we'll call it even. I told her she was insane, but inside, I was rattled. After she left, I spent the next week going over old files, making sure my contracts and emails were airtight. That's when I stumbled on something I hadn't expected. Buried in an old folder was a string of messages from Matt, not to me, but to Olivia. They'd been in contact for years, and not just friendly contact. The messages hinted at meetings, plans, even discussions about waiting until the right time. My heart pounded as I put it together. Olivia hadn't just stumbled on my secret, she'd been digging for it, with Matt's help. And if she knew about the money, then Matt did too. I needed to know what they were planning. So, I did something I'm not proud of. I hired a private investigator. It didn't take long. Within 2 weeks, I had photos, bank statements, and enough evidence to paint a clear picture. Olivia and Matt weren't just talking, they were engaged. They'd been together for over a year, and the right time they'd been waiting for, this Thanksgiving. They wanted to hit me from both sides, Olivia with the family guilt trip, and Matt with a potential lawsuit over intellectual property. If I'd given in to Olivia's demands, half my fortune would have been gone in a day and the other half could have followed in court. I didn't confront them right away. Instead, I invited Olivia to lunch the following weekend. I acted friendly, even apologetic, and told her I'd been thinking about her request. I said I was willing to work something out, but I'd need her and Matt to sign some paperwork first. Her eyes lit up like she'd won the lottery. She agreed instantly. We set a meeting for the next Monday. What Olivia didn't know was that the paperwork was actually a legal agreement stating she and Matt had no claim to the app, the money, or any of my assets, now or in the future. My lawyer explained it to them in the blandest legal jargon possible, and they signed without reading too closely. I had it notarized on the spot. Once the ink was dry, I leaned back and smiled. By the way, I said, congratulations on the engagement. The look on their faces was priceless. Olivia's eyes went wide. Matt turned pale. How she started, but I cut her off. You really should be more careful about your emails. She tried to backpedal, but it was too late. They both knew the game was up. I stood, shook Matt's hand like we were closing a business deal, and walked out. A week later, my pie sent me one last update. Matt had moved out of Olivia's place, and she'd been posting cryptic "some people will betray you" quotes on Instagram. I haven't heard from her since. The rest of the family still doesn't know the full story. They think Olivia and I had a falling out over personal issues, which is fine by me. Let them think what they want. The truth is, I don't regret keeping the money. Not because I'm greedy, but because I know now exactly how far some people will go when they think they're entitled to something. Money doesn't change people, it just shows you who they really are. And sometimes, the richest thing you can do is walk away. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this.